Okay, welcome back. So I'd like to start the focus day today with a quick reminder of where we're going and how we're going to get there. Okay, so here's the objectives for today. Here, let's have fun. Understand what healthy and smart means. Think and work on the business. Implement practical tools and get more done. And the agenda for today is hitting the ceiling, accountability chart, rocks, meeting pals, scorecard, next steps, and then conclude. I'm sure some of the things here sound familiar to you already, but maybe we just have different understandings about it. So today I'm gonna lead this session as an EOS implementer to try and come in from a third person's perspective to implement EOS for our company and anyone within our organization who is using EOS currently, just so we're all aligned on what it actually means. All right. So let's start with hitting the ceiling, right? So whether your definition of growth is rocketing to $200 million or just growing internally by becoming more profitable and operating more smoothly, it's inevitable that we will meet occasionally we'll get stuck, right? So growing, making money, or running your business will get harder. You will get frustrated. You won't know exactly why you're stuck or what you need to do about it. You just know that you've hit the ceiling, right? So hitting the ceiling is inevitable and often necessary before an organization can advance to the next level. So I challenged you to rise to the occasion and help the company break through those ceilings by mastering 5 leadership abilities. And if you can't, the company will flatline or it will fail, like so many small business, right? So let's start. Simplify, delegate, predict, systemize, structure. The first leadership ability is by helping the group understand how quickly growing organizations become complex and just how hard it is for our leaders to keep things simple. Everything about this system you're about to learn is designed to help us simplify, and throughout our journey together, you will hear me say, less is more quite often, because less truly is more. On delegation, leaders must learn to build extensions of themselves, to truly let go and to stop trying to do everything themselves. For growing organizations to break through the ceiling. So you can spend far more time doing those things you love to do and are best at. It's where we'll all be happiest and where you will be able to add the most value to the organization. Leadership teams predict on 2 levels, long-term and short-term. And really, we need to be good at both. So the VTO, as we discussed in the previous session, and rocks as tools will help the team master long-term predicting, meaning everything 90 days and beyond. That's long-term predicting. This stresses the value of creating a clear long-term vision for the company and a plan to achieve it. Short-term predicting is the ability to effectively solve daily and weekly issues. If you're normal, you're getting hit with 5 to 6 issues every single day, right? We have to get better at predicting which of these issues needs to be tackled right away and predicting the right solution that solves them forever. As for systemizing the process, every company has a handful of core processes, the essential things that make organizations run. Every company has an HR process, a marketing process, a sales process, 2 or 3 operations process, an accounting process, and a customer service or a customer retention process. Once defined, these processes will become our unique business model and the way that we operate the business. Soon, we're going to help you document these processes at a high level, simplify them, and get them followed consistently by everyone in the organization. That will make things easier to manage, more predictable, and more fun. You will be able to scale this business to any size that you choose, right? Yeah, it sounds easy, right? But I'm going to say that it's not easy. It's simple. It's simple, not easy. Systemizing works best when we keep it simple. That's why we always use the 20-80 rule. We document 20% of the high-level steps in a core process to get 80% of the results. If you're trying to document 100% of all the steps to get 100% compliance, that project is probably never going to be truly done. And even when it does get done, it usually provides you with a low return on your investment of time, right? So finally, structuring your organization, the accountability chart will help you create the right structure to get you to the next level. It creates simplicity and absolute clarity, crystallizing the roles and responsibilities in the organization, which leads us to our next focus day tool. So next, we're going to talk about the accountability chart now. Yeah. So there is a significant importance of having so we've done this, now we're on this. There is a significant importance of having single leader responsible for ensuring each major function stays strong. You can't have two people accountable for a single major function, because when two people are accountable, nobody is accountable. We need one person with the authority to make that function strong, to get us consistently great results for that function. When things are going well, we'll know this person helped pull everyone through together to make great stuff happen. And when things are off track, we will be able to look into one set of eyes and ask that leader to get us back on track. Okay, so now I'm going to draw out how the accountability chart with three major functions of sales, operations, and finance will look like, which is the typical one for most companies, including ours. Okay, so I believe some of you seen something like this before already, as we have already implemented EOS, right? Sales and marketing. So just for the sake of example, I'm going to go with the conventional path. Of course, with Sigma School and any company that I work with, it's going to be, I usually want to split out sales and marketing because I see them as two different things. But yeah, let's continue. So besides having the main functions of sales, operations, and finance, all organizations have a fourth critical function at the leadership team level, right? The integrator is the glue, the one person who beats the drum, runs the day-to-day, and is ultimately accountable for harmoniously integrating the other major functions so that the company achieves its goals. Because when you have a strong, talented people in each of the major functions, there's often healthy friction between the two or more of those leaders. When the team can't agree on something, the integrator breaks the ties. Whereas integrators love rolling up their sleeves and digging into the day-to-day, visionaries are attracted to big ideas. They may have 20 or more, ideas before breakfast every day. They're great with big relationships. They're driven by creativity, and they consider culture, principles, and values super important, much of what exists today. Enduring companies, those who last long, right? World-changing innovations, cultural advancements, they all exist because of the visionaries. What makes this an accountability chart is that we clearly define the 5 major roles the owner of each major function must obsess about and excel at in order to take us to the next level. So we're going to draw out our accountability chart, which I have drawn out already. So I'll show it in a different session, but you guys can just go and visit one.co/acc-chart. This is how our accountability chart currently looks like. It's a bit inconvenient to switch my view from my iPad, but yeah, maybe I'll show it later on, right? Otherwise, we can just go to this link and take a look at it. Okay, so now that we've had our main functions and our main structure for our company, so we need to take them one at a time, focusing on structure rather than people or history, right? So for example, for marketing, right? So here, let's say we were to break this into two, right? Here, I'm going to draw this a little bit bigger. So we're going to start with LMA. LMA stands for Leadership, Management, and Accountability. We use this acronym to describe everything you do to get the most from your people. It becomes the first role in your seat. If you have to lead well and manage well to create an environment where organizational accountability really just happens, okay? When we fill up our seats with roles and responsibilities, including LMA duties, some roles may clash. For example, set reasonable client expectations. Here, reasonable client expectations. Some may say sales is in charge. Some may say operations is in charge. So do we share responsibility for client satisfaction? No, that's against our rule number 1, right? You can't have 2 people accountable for a single role. If you can't decide on the spot, then we have to put this into issue list, right? To be discussed later. Reminder, continued disagreement will, when there is a continued disagreement, the integrator will be the tiebreaker for the decision, okay? Remember, one person can only be responsible for one role, okay? Accountable, not responsible. We may also experience a situation where we put an accountability on something we can't control, such as client satisfaction, right? So reminder again, nobody here has a job yet. Focus on the structure first, people second. That's how EOS works. That's why I haven't added any names here yet, okay? Pro tip, it doesn't fully matter if you or any department can't fully control the outcome of the accountability. Someone still needs to be accountable for that number. What gets measured gets done. That's why we need to put someone there no matter what, okay? So now we gotta fill up everything, and then we have to identify. So we just continue this activity, right? Understanding what's the main role of the leader for marketing, the leader for sales, the leader for operations, the leader for finance, for example. So these are the things that they LMA, they lead, manage, and hold accountable. The team, they are accountable, right? So then we have the integrator as well, and then we have to discuss, right? Who the visionary is. Now, I'm going to make one exception in this accountability chart. I'm going to ask you to talk about people for a moment at the visionary seat, because this seat is always customized for the individual who owns it. So right now, in this example, if I'm talking about Sigma School, I currently own Sigma School. I'm the one who started it, right? I'm the one who has big ideas, doing big relationships, solving big problems. So really, how can I need to figure out how can the visionary add the most value every single day, right? So for visionary, the way I think about this is I will ask myself, right? What do I love most? What are you best at? And what do you do that brings most value? Okay, so now that we've defined the ideal structure, at least at the leadership team level, let's put the right people in the right seats. To do that, we must elevate everyone into seats where they'll spend most of their time doing what they love to do and are best at it. We're going to take the seats of one at a time, starting with the 4 major functions. So we need to figure out, are there any clear-cut owners of these seats, right? So first, this is where we start putting in the name. So guys, I'm just running through this to really help you understand the thought process that I go through when it comes to creating the accountability chart and creating the structure for the company, right? So this is the exact same training that I've gotten and I'm sharing with you guys. I know right now our chart is already completed, but I just want to bring you guys on the same level where I'm at. And if there's any issues, then you can obviously give it a feedback to us and see how we can, make sure what we do is correct, right? So let me continue, right? Starting with the person on the left, it's time for real-time performance review, right? So we will need to run through one by one, right? Everyone here that we put your name here, okay? We need to run through each department, each function. We'll have to run through a candid feedback from their peers. We'll need to ask each leader to tell us whether they think that they see the 5 roles in the marketing seat, right? WC stands for get it, want it, and the capacity to do it. Okay, so when someone gets it, their brain is innately hardwired in a way that matches the demands of the 5 roles in their seat. When someone wants it, they genuinely spring out of bed every day wanting to excel in the roles. And when someone has the capacity to do it, they have acquired the intellectual and emotional maturity, education, training, and on-the-job experience to consistently perform well in the seat. So with that context set, we are looking for everyone to say yes 3 times. If someone feels that they don't GWC the seat, you will hear at least 1 no, then we will need to ask the person to explain. So just to be clear, that means that everybody in all these roles, they need to GWC that role, right? So hold on, are we really doing that when we come out right now publicly and tell someone about their job performance in front of their peers? So yes, although I should make it clear that we're not inviting personal attacks, we're just asking for candid feedback. We have to stay focused on the greater good of the organization. It's natural to feel uncomfortable during this exercise, but getting your open and honest feelings about one another out on the table is what allows us to identify any people issues that exist and resolve them together as a team. If we don't do that here and now, these issues left unsaid tend to fester and grow. Ultimately, they really hold you back as a team and as a company. Well, anyway, what's the big deal? This is part of the system that we've signed up to learn. I'm no more comfortable hearing what you all think of me than you are hearing what others think of you. But if we can't be honest, open and honest with each other, we shouldn't be here, okay? So right now, we really need to understand, do everyone and their name over here. In fact, we need a name here as well, right? And a name here. Everyone in all these seats, they need to GWC. We need to go around and understand if someone GWC. If they do not, then we have to understand why are they in this seat. Okay, so this is how we run through the thought process of putting the right people in the right seats. Okay, so yeah, if we were to complete this exercise, we have to write down, what are the responsibility of operations, right? Finance, integrator, and visionary. This is something that we have already done. Remember in our accountability chart over here. You can review it over here. So this is just let me repeat myself again. We are not doing it in this session. It is already done. I'm just running you guys on how we have done it and the thought process that goes behind it and the expectation that we have for everyone that is on our accountability chart, right? Okay, so now that we've done this topic, we're going to move on to the next agenda, which is rocks. Okay, let's start. The sun showers the earth with billions of kilowatts of energy every day. Because all the energy is diffused by the earth's atmosphere, the worst thing that happens is that you get a little sunburn, right? However, on the other hand, a laser beam uses just a few kilowatts of energy. Because that energy is tightly focused in a single direction, it can cut through steel, right? Why am I sharing this with you? Because that is the power of focus. If you can get every ounce of that energy focused in one single direction, you truly can accomplish amazing things. If not, all your energy will be diffused and you won't get much of anything done really well. So today we're going to force ourselves to focus. We're going to whittle that giant list of priorities down to 3 to 7 lead dominoes, the stuff that matters most this quarter, basically until end of this quarter, because we're going to be doing this each quarter. Then we're going to put our heads down and charge forward for 90 days, staying focused on that handful of priorities where our efforts will have the highest possible impact on the organization. Okay, so this is where we start writing down our rocks. As usual, I'm not going to do it in this activity, right? Because we already have our rocks and scorecards completed. I just want to showcase to you guys how it's done, right? So there's going to be a lot of things. So usually we start our rocks. The way we think about it is we start from our issue list. Literally write as many things as possible. Then later we run through a process called keep it, kill it, or combine it. Okay, so don't worry, right? My record for a focus day back in the days was like freaking 50 issues that filled up so much space, right? I was with Haris, I remember, and we wrote down so many things, right? So whatever you write down, don't worry about it. All we're gonna do is keep it, kill it, or combine it. We may take 2 or 3 passes and we may argue passionately for the greater good of the organization, but I promise that we will get there. Okay, we may reach a situation where where we cannot decide whether this is a rock or a decision we should stay or kill it, right? We'll be tempted to use consensus management to keep majority votes. But in all my work with entrepreneurial companies, I found that consensus management does not work. It will put you out of business faster than anything else, right? And this is something I can completely agree with. So what does work is giving everyone the chance to express his or her opinion. If the team can agree, then the integrator will make the final call. Okay, we should have a complete set of rock by now, right? Which we do. Okay, it's in our team Google Sheet, and with the list, we have to make sure that they are smart. Okay, I'm sure you're heard of SMART goals before. It's the same thing. So a rock is like a goal. It's just our priority goal, right? So it has to be specific, measurable, very important, attainable, realistic, and timely. Okay, and we will also need an owner for each rock, just like with a seat on the accountability chart. Only one person can be accountable for one rock. Okay, so now that we introduced the concept of individual rocks, right? So reminder, less is more, but including the company rocks you own, each of you can leave here with up to 7 rocks. So 7 rocks, right? So if something near and dear to your heart didn't make the cut as a company rock, you're empowered to add it to your list of individual rocks for this quarter, right? So yeah, I'm not going to run through the rocks thing again, but it's fairly, we have it in our Google Sheet. If anyone has any questions, please let us know. Okay, it's basically your 3 to 7 items, actually not 3, 1 to 7 items that is your core focus for this quarter, and we have that documented in our team Google Sheet.